I grabbed a billionaire's pen and told him his formula was wrong, yeah. I did that, and the room went so quiet I could hear the air conditioner breathe. 3 seconds earlier, I was the waitress topping off sparkling water at a hotel in Austin, the kind of room that smells like new carpet and old money. 3 seconds later, every eye was on me, like I had crawled out of the ceiling vents. Here's what happened and why I didn't keep my mouth shut. Because quiet isn't safety. It's just the breath before the jump. You know what I mean? I was working a corporate dinner. Apron, pressed shoes, scuffed name tag shining like proof. I belonged only near the pictures, not near the presentation. And on the wall there's this glowing molecular model, a pretty blue snowflake to most folks. But to me it was a bridge with a missing beam. Before all this, I was in biochemical engineering at Howard, the kind of work that teaches your eyes to see charge pairs like tiny magnets. How things fold when they want to heal. Then life happened, my mom got sick, the bills multiplied. I left school and did what I had to do, but numbers don't leave you. They sit in your bones and tap the glass when something's off. Rowan Hale, founder of Hale Bioworks, sits at the head of the table with that billionaire calm, like he's the only person in the room who can stop time. His CFO, Marcus Vail, leans toward a sharp-suited delegate and whispers about switching a scaffold and dumping equity before the thing implodes. They laugh, and that laugh snaps whatever leash I usually keep on my voice. I lean in behind Rowan and say, "Soft but steady, sir. If you sign that it won't just fail, it'll collapse and take your name with it." And he doesn't look at my eyes, not yet. He looks at my uniform, my badge, my skin, then gives me that polite blade of a smile. "Excuse me, this research is complex. Kindly step back." And Marcus chuckles. Cute theory from the help. My mouth moves before my fear can stop it. The hydrophilic groups are reversed. Third cycle neutralization, and your friends are already planning who to blame. He raises the pen to sign. Anyway, so I take it clean quick, like it tried to steal something from me first. The table scrapes, security stiffens. An investor half stands, like he saw a ghost, and I say, "Check it yourself." Rowan takes the stylus, redraws the sequence. One correction, then another. The math clicks like a zipper, finally catching. He exhales. "She's right," he says. Then shuts the meeting down. Nobody moves, nobody breathes, and I'm walked to a back hallway to wait with my tray and my shaking hands. 10 minutes later, his assistant brings me to a small lounge with a city made of glass outside the window. Rowan's tie is loosened, sleeves rolled, and he says, "You embarrassed them, not me, which is its own kind of problem." "What's your background?" I tell him the truth. Howard Biochem, left for family, still read papers on my bus break because I'm built that way, and he says, "You just saved me from a disaster." Meet Dr. Inez Park at 9 a.m. I don't sleep much. I hear my mom's voice quiet. Isn't safety, it's the breath before the jump and figure I've already jumped. The 42nd floor of Hale looks like a cathedral built to worship stainless steel orchids everywhere. The kind of silence that costs extra. Dr. Park is there with short silver hair and glasses on a red string's eyes like scalpels sit, she says. "I don't do small talk, your correction was good. You want in, don't lie to the data. That's the rule, and by lunch, I have a badge by dinner. I have an email that tastes like metal, watch your back. You embarrassed the wrong people." I'm cross-checking sequence tags and find a manual override MV14 pushing the flawed version into a Nevada pretest that was supposed to be paused. MV is Marcus Vail. Of course it is. I carry the printout to Dr. Park. Her jaw tightens in stages. We go to Rowan, and 20 minutes later, Marcus is doing that slow blink smile that means he thinks we don't have enough. We do. "We have timestamps and email drafts," Rowan says. "Resign in 10, no press, no spin, or we shred your parachute in front of the board. 10 minutes later, we have a resignation, and for 5 whole minutes, I think that's the win. It isn't because rot never starts with one person, and it never ends when you cut him out. Duck. Park and I follow the trail into a ghost archive with a harmless name, Osprey Ledger, but inside it's early trial footage and sealed waivers and emails written in the cold language of profit. There's a woman in one video, 20-something, with braced hands, a note in her profile about loving Sam Cooke. Her name is Raina Cross. 15 minutes after injection, she convulses. They revive her. She slips into a coma. 2 days later, she's gone. The old chief scientist signs off. A legal intern observes, buried in the metadata like a needle in a locked haystack. Is his name Marcus Vale, Raina's brother, so? Yeah, sabotage wasn't just greed. It was grief sharpened into a blade. And somehow that makes it heavier, not cleaner. Rowan doesn't reach for PR. He sits in front of a plain backdrop and tells the truth on camera. I built a company that talked about hope and failed to question the hands holding the scalpel. No cure is worth a soul. He names, promises light. We post the video on Monday, and by lunch, the comments split into thank you and liar. Because truth crawls, then it divides. And still, the itch, the one like a thread under your skin, you can't stop chasing. A county records blip points to a decommissioned annex called Pine Hollow. A VP of partnerships named Sloan Whitaker keeps popping up around vault access and NDAs, and a whisper of a merger at $2.9 billion. If the trial fails, we bait her with a rumor about an outside audit, follow her to the Bayshore Regency. I sit in the back with a notebook and a lapel mic. While she tells 3 men they'll move the leadership vote inside 72 hours. And when Rowan walks in mid-sentence, calm as a closed fist, you should see their faces. Please, don't stop on my account, he says. I hit play on their own words. He lays down vault logs and USB transfers, and a neat list of crimes. Sloan goes pale, then stone, and walks out on heels that sound like an alarm no one else can hear. Digging deeper, we crack a mirrored server of our old development grid and find the part that made me want to put my fist through drywall, a hidden dopamine reuptake enhancer nested inside the compound, like a Trojan horse heartbeat, memos using phrases like habit-forming pool, and they'll thank us for the leash. That's the kind of line that stains your teeth when you say it out loud. The decision is simple and awful. Bury it to protect the stock, or burn it to protect people. Rowan chooses the burn we call the families. I sit on the calls because a company voice will never be enough. A father tells me his son walked in with hope and we handed him risk, dressed like medicine. He thanks me anyway, and nothing about that feels fair. Late one night, a video lands in my encrypted inbox. Marcus. Eyes red, voice tired. If you're watching this, you found the truth. If you're Tessa Carter, thank you. Don't stop until the last lie is dust. And with that in my pocket, like a coin I can't stop turning, we jump again. A hospital record says Raina wasn't dead. She was relocated, recipient Aegis Development Network. I call a friend who used to live in the shadows. Sergeant Avery Quinn, posture taught the hard way, eyes that count exits before faces. We trace a front company. Northline Vector find a warehouse near Seadrift, with transport schedules that look boring, until you put the pattern together. A tip hits, they're moving her in 3 days. We tell the right people, they say words like jurisdiction, and later, so we go with now. The docks smell like diesel and brine, 2 black vans, 4 escorts, a barge with no name, doctor. Park loops the cameras from a mile away, because she's a miracle. Avery hands me a jacket, and nerves I borrow, without asking. We let the convoy pull in, count to 37. Avery's flashbang turns night into noon, and noon into thunder. I run like the floor is lava, and the prize is a life. A bullet snaps a crate 2 inches from my head, and I keep going. At the van, I find a gurney, and a woman whose breathing is too shallow. Under a hood, it's okay, I tell her, which is a promise I have no right to make, and make anyway. We cut restraints with shaking hands, while Avery moves like a metronome taser. Duck move cover. Rowan shows up out of nowhere, because apparently billionaires don't stay in cars during rescues. We haul Raina into an old maintenance tunnel from a 2009 blueprint and slog through knee-high water while shouts ricochet behind us, out on the boat. Her lips tremble, eyes half open. "Sam Cooke," she whispers, and that one little shard of memory feels like a key turning. By sunrise, Raina is safe in a private medical unit. By noon, investigators with three-letter names are on calls with our legal team and an ethics coalition that doesn't care about our stock price. Rowan stands in a briefing room with a wall of data and says we allowed science to be hijacked. It stops now. Weeks later, the chaos finally learns to crawl in the right direction. Hale Bioworks becomes Cross-Institute for Neuroethics, because names can be monuments or apologies. And we chose both. We build an open framework. Anyone can audit, and the people who once treated me like wallpaper start nodding in the hallway instead. The day Raina speaks to a small crowd in a garden off Central Park, she doesn't talk about villains, she talks about being erased. I wasn't just a patient. I was a person, she says, steady, not dramatic. And when she finishes, no one claps loud, they just breathe out like they've been holding something for years. On a Friday night, after the Institute opens its doors, another message lands with no name, just a sealed hospital file from 2016, and a subject line that reads, "Not done." And I pour coffee and write my mother's line again, "Quiet isn't safety. It's the breath before the jump, because this isn't a bedtime story. It's a map with fresh pencil marks and a lot of wind at the door." So tell me, was I right to grab that pen, or did I cross a line you would never cross? Can a company earn back trust after breaking it? Or is that just a pretty story? We tell ourselves, have you ever been the invisible one who saw what no one wanted to see and spoke anyway? Drop your take in the comments where you're watching from. And if you've got your own story about bias power and what justice costs, I want to hear it, because truth doesn't grow in silence. It grows in the noise we make together.